Hey, this is Jacqueline, Miss JJ Diamond, Deja, Jackie, whatever y'all call me. I wanted to get on this podcast tonight because I wanted to address some things. I had listened to a podcast earlier, and it had a lot of things on there I would like to address. One, they were talking about it was several people on the podcast, and they were talking about different things that they see that's going on. However, some of the things that they were talking about, it made sense to me, but it didn't make sense to me if you've been outside of your area. Every state is different, okay? And the reason why I'm bringing this to the podcast is because people need to know this. In every state, the rules are different. I haven't been to two states with the same rules yet. Okay, and I've traveled to a lot of states. Okay. And what you see go on in one state may not go on in another. Okay. They talked a lot about the laws. And the best thing to do when you step into a state is find out the laws of the state. So that way you won't be breaking those laws. You won't have to say, I didn't know I was breaking the law. The other thing is, yes, as brown-skinned people, we are targeted. It's sad. We've been targeted for years. And that's something that is not going to change overnight. So we have to come together and teach our youth how to overcome this so that change will occur in the near future. Now, one of the guys that was in the podcast, he was talking about a lot of unity, us coming together. However, we have this thing, brown colored people, have this thing of always trying to outbeat each other. But then as soon as something major happened, then they want to come together. That's not how it works, people. Unity means togetherness all the time. And that's something that we lost. Okay, only time we know how, and this is something that they had brought up when we was in the cotton fields hundreds of years ago, picking cotton. That's the only unity we had was the labor of us. Okay, and that's all they know us for because that's all we stand for because that's what we represent. Okay, but if you represent something differently, they have to respect you for what you represent. Okay, and I'm hoping y'all following me. And I wish I was on a podcast with them because I wanted to kind of break in there and say, hey, hold on. We not back in the cotton fields. And I've been in jobs where my head boss was black. Okay, two of them that I had to deal with every day. And y'all crazy black men. But anyway, I loved them to death. Okay? But they was at the top, they was at the top of the ladder. So it's not that we can't make it there. You have to choose to make it there. And the way you choose to make it there is any means necessary. Okay? The right way, the positive way, the legal way, and education. Okay? So, I come from the Bronx, the South Bronx, where a lot of people didn't make it out of there. But then there was a lot of us that did. A lot of us that was able to see the other side. Okay? And it is two sides, people, whether y'all know it or not. And some of y'all just so afraid to come to the other side and try to live in peace. Y'all would rather have chaos in your lives instead of doing things the right way. So you will be in peace. When you go to bed at night, you'll be able to sleep. Okay? Now, granted, yeah, we all have, negative things around us that we may not want around us, and we try our best to keep it away from us so we don't have to deal with the negativity of the police, the courts. I hate the court system. I've been in the courtroom so many times in my life, and it's not even because of me. It's because of my family members, because of my people. I hate it. They made me hate it. So I try to do everything the right way so I don't have to have the court system, the police, and anybody coming at me. And this is the way you're supposed to think. You have to change your mindset, people. And that's just the way it is. If you want to see justice, you have to change your mindset. Now, they say, okay, the president ain't did this. The president ain't did that. But what happened to the legislators? Nobody talks about them when they're the ones who make the fucking rules. Excuse my language. They're the ones who make the rules, not the president. I ain't see no people talk about let's get some petitions together and get in contact with the I'm tongue-tied tonight. Legislators. I ain't hear people talk about, we need to go protest in front of the congressman's office. But everybody want to sit back and talk about what the president is doing. But they sit these people right in our community so we can go talk to them. So we can go to their office and ask to talk to them so we can find out why A and B ain't matching up. Okay? This is why they tell y'all to vote. They gave y'all a choice. Okay? But y'all don't even do that. Then you have people that's willing to take office to help you people, and then y'all won't even put them in office. Y'all not even paying attention. Okay, so, I understand why the world has gone crazy over all these killings and with these cops. I understand perfectly, okay, because I've been there, okay? I just didn't die going through it, but I've been there. So I know, and I'm angry with y'all. But it's a way to do things, people, and we have to start with self, okay? We need to start within ourselves and come together. One of the guys was talking about, and I don't want to get too deep into it because it's major history, but he was talking about how we were the kings and queens before the white people even enslaved us. And that's true. And they took a love for us because we were able to work hard and get things done. And now here it is 400 or 500 years later, and we look like pieces of shit because we get nothing done without chaos. Martin Luther King. There was no chaos. Malcolm X, even though they died to help us. And don't get me wrong. They died to help us get to the point that we are today. However, there wasn't chaos. They were always teaching and discipline. And now y'all people is just out here, especially during the COVID. This is the worst. And it just kills me to see my people act the way they've been acting. And there's a way to protest. And I looked at all of the cities, and shout out to Charlotte, shout out to Maryland, Y'all were like one of the only ones that was totally disciplined. And then I seen New York when y'all walked the bridge. I was able to appreciate that. To see my people. But all that tearing up stuff was too much. And I didn't want to touch base on it because I was just totally disgusted with America, period. You know, I'm disgusted with the police. I'm disgusted with my people. I'm disgusted with everybody. So I didn't want to even make a podcast on that. And if y'all notice, I didn't say nothing until they start tearing down the statues, which is our history. We have a lot of history as colored people. And we need to learn that history. You know, one of the guys on the guy podcast that said, I don't want to get it wrong because I don't like to mess up someone's, quote or what they were saying. But what he was trying to say was, the white people love us. And it's true. They do. But then you have some of them that just hate us because. Okay? Now you can't knock them for hating us just because when you hate your own kind just because. You just can't. So now y'all need to check yourselves. Because there is a lot of white people out here that's loving and caring. Okay? And then you have some of them that they put up that falsified act on. And they really don't give a damn about you for real. And then you got those that want to be just like us. Because why wouldn't you want to be like us? Why wouldn't you want to be? We got pretty skin. We got pretty hair. We got pretty eyes. We got muscles built in formation without working out. We cook good. We look good. Why wouldn't you want to be us? But y'all can't even respect that. That we are like statues and trophies to them. How can we go out and work 10, 12 hours without falling? Without using drugs? Because we're built for this. This is what we've been doing from the beginning of time. The guy made a statement about how the white people are teaching their kids how to live off the earth. There's niggas right here in the South, they teach their kids every day. And I wanted to address that. Okay? Black people teach their kids right down here in the South every day how to live off the earth. So just because you live in a city, you don't know what's going on in other cities. And this is where you need to do your research. I have a friend, she was mad with the city right here. And she said she was leaving. And I understand because they got some things with them. Their rules is just like off whack, and they need to get better with some rules. However, she went upstate and she was like, nah, I'm not going back to New York. It's not for me. See, people, y'all need to travel and spend time in these cities, not come to these cities and just go to a hotel and spend a nightlife down in the city. You got to physically come to the hood, to the city parts, and see what's going on. See what the rules are in that city. Don't just come and because you're going to be there for 3 days. You don't need to know the laws of the city. Every city is different. So I wanted to bring that to their attention as well. I did love the podcast because they touched base on a lot of things, a lot of history, and it was a wonderful podcast. It's just that I wanted to touch base on some things that they need to know because they're stuck in a box and they don't know what's going on out here until they see it on the news. until somebody gets killed. And that's sad. That's really, really sad. When people can't, and this is the other thing I wanted to say that they had brought up. They had said that when you go to church, the minister pulls up in a Benz, and all of the members pull up in old cars or old Toyotas and stuff. And I laughed because it was right, But this is the thing people have to understand. When God says to tithe, He didn't say you had to tithe to a church. He just wants you to do His work. And that means give love, give help His people that He guides you to. Okay? You don't always have to, and this is where the choice come in. And I'm a Christian, okay? And I've always believed in the church. Even when I was doing bad, I believed in the church. I would go to church every Sunday. And I made a mess all week. And I'd be in that church on Sunday praying to God that He saved me through it. And He did. But the point that I'm trying to make is, it's your choice. It's your choice. You have choices. Just like when people say, how can I get out of here? Like a lot of my New York friends, they tell, well, how can I get out of here? How can I move? Okay, well, if the job you're working ain't enough, then you need to get another one. And you make that your future goal. You don't just sit back and say, I can't. You make it happen. This is where America is set today, where we are allowed to make choices as long as they stay within their rules. Y'all need to understand that. Okay? A lot of people didn't know that here, and I just want to tell y'all this, okay? And I know the lawyers is going to be mad at me for telling it, but I want to tell it because I need to let my Americans know that they have a choice. And y'all need to stop putting their backs up against the walls because they feel like they're worthless. And then that makes them angry because they always feel like they got to come out their pockets or somebody's taken from them. And this is one of the reasons why we're so angry. Sometimes we be so angry just to come outside. Because we don't want to deal with people. Because of all the stuff that we got to deal with the government. Now, a lot of people don't know there's a lot of things you can do in America without having lawyers. Okay, and like I said, the lawyers are probably going to be mad with me, and I don't care. But they need to know this. Because people are stuck in situations not able to get out of them because they think they need lawyers. And there's always a way out of a situation in America. This is America, people. We have the best country in the world. This is why everybody comes here. But y'all are tearing it apart. I mean, it's like y'all want to see this place a third world country. And it's sad. It's sad because this is what we're going to come to if y'all don't get it right. You got companies with they don't want to hire people because of the way they look or their age. And they got the experience because they don't want to pay them right. I mean, it's a lot of things. This America. It's a lot of things going on in America, y'all. A lot of things, and a lot of people are suffering behind it. But there's always a way to come up out of it because America has made it simple for us. They've made it simple for us. This is why everybody comes here to get what they need because it's simple. All you got to do is put the work in. All that crying y'all doing, put some work in. You know, people tell me I don't get on my podcast enough. And I don't get on my podcast because I be working. This is what I do. Because I got to take care of my kids. I make my music. I'm building my brand. I have another project going on, and I'll be working and taking care of my family. I don't have time to get on a podcast for real, but I try. And they say, well, you're doing good on your podcast. You need to get on it. And they're right. But I got other goals. And I'm not going to let a podcast take away from my goals. But when I get information that I want to share, I will get on here. Like when it's eating at me and I can't sleep at night, I'll get on it, you know? But it's not a necessity for me. And I'm going to just be honest with y'all. Because I got to take care of me first. You got to love you first. And this is what we have to learn. Okay? God asks us to love us. Him first. And then us. You have to love yourself. And if you don't love yourself, then you can't do nothing else. You can't complete no task. You will be miserable. So you have to love yourself. And I think I brought this up in another podcast about loving yourself. Know your self-worth. I've been writing that on social media for the last 7 years. Self-worth. What are you worth to yourself? Think about it, people. Look in the mirror when you get up tomorrow morning. Tomorrow's Sunday. And if you're listening tonight, get up in the morning and look in the mirror and tell yourself what you're worth. And stick to that. And any goals that you have, stick to that. Yeah, there's always going to be bumps and what they call them, roadblocks. But if you pray on it, God is going to find another path. Self-worth is the key. And then unity. Once you know who you are, then you can go out and love others and bond with others. And build self-unity. Okay? I can go anywhere, whether it's America or another country, and build unity because of my self-love. It has to start within you first. It has to be sincere. A person can tell a fake person when they come around. But if you're not fake, they all want to be around. It's hard to tell through social media, people. You got to be around people and feel their aura in order to know who they are. And that's why I personally can go almost anywhere and build love. Because I am love. I love myself. And that's what y'all have to do. Learn to love yourselves. Put your lives in play. Once you are 30 years old, okay? And my mama told me this a long time ago. God bless her soul. My mama told me, between the ages of 18 and 30, that's your playtime. Okay? From 30 to 40, you're supposed to know where you want to go, and that's when you start trying stuff and start figuring it out. Between 40 and 50, you should almost be there. And if you're not, you gotta work on it faster. Okay? And she was right. By the time you're 30 years old, you're supposed to be building something for your family, a foundation. You can screw up, but because none of us are perfect. But if you don't have that foundation set, There's something that's wrong with you. And yes, we're going to have roadblocks. It's like me. I had a roadblock, a big roadblock. Sat here in Charlotte for 4 years, no job. That killed me inside. It stopped my goals. I should have been where I was supposed. I was going to be 50 this year. I should have been where I was supposed to be. But they stopped my flow. They didn't want to give me no work. I felt some kind of way. I was angry. People say, well, what's wrong? I'm angry. And I tell them, you don't have to act angry. Totally. But you can tell, voice yourself. I'm angry. Then somebody may say, why are you angry? And then you tell them, and they may have the solution. So, I just wanted to get on here and say these things, because on that podcast, the guys was angry. A lot of them was angry. A lot of the things that they were saying was true, and they hit a lot of history. But I did want to touch base on certain things, because on some of the stuff that they was talking about, I have the solution. And I want to put them at peace with that, so they can sleep at night and they won't be feeling like, well, how are we going to fix this? That's one thing off their list they don't have to worry about. And this is what we're supposed to do when it comes to unity. Help one another. Give them the knowledge that they may need. Don't hold knowledge from people. If you know something, tell them. If it's going to help them, why hurt your own people? And this is what it's coming to. Everybody's hurting everybody instead of loving everybody. And we all in the same boat. Survival. We all in survival mode now. Just like, how your body, when they say you don't eat, and then your body start eating off the fat, and then your body goes into survival mode. Well, that's where we all at right now, survival mode. Because we got COVID attacking us. And there's nothing we can do about it. We got the police attacking us. And we're trying to get them to stop. We're all in survival mode. And we shouldn't be. So, with that being said, self-love, people, I'm going to say it again and I'm going to keep saying it. When you get up in the morning and you look at yourself in the mirror, you may have coal up under your eyes, your breath stink, it doesn't matter. Look at yourself and say to yourself how much you love yourself and where do you want to be within the next 5 to 10 years? Where do you see yourself being? What roadblocks do you need to break or to get through? Because, sometimes when there's a roadblock, you can build a bridge. I had to learn that myself. So y'all got to stop taking everything negatively. Take negative and turn it to a positive. I learned this a long time ago. If you take negative and find a way to turn it to a positive, you will see a different outlook. And this is what made me who I am today. People say, how do you deal with so much stress? I'm a human being. I don't deal with stress that well. I just try to take my negative and turn it into a positive the best way I can to keep that stress off of me. And this is what we need to do until these things subside. We got the COVID. You got all these people out here, they're not wearing masks. Now the government has told us there's 100,000 of us that done died, and you still not walking around with a mask? You just don't believe, huh? So those are them people that we need to take up in the hospital and let them see them people dying on a respirator. Those are them people, the non-believers. See, I had people that died, so I know what it is. It ain't no joke. It will take you out of here if your body is not fit for it. So, with that being said, And I did have a friend that survived it. But you don't know what range your body is in. Will it survive it? But they still walking around with no mask. They don't care. And it makes me angry. And I'm going to tell you, I'll be angry. Anybody that know Jackie, y'all know I can get angry. I'll show y'all angry. But I try not to get angry. I try to turn a negative into a positive. But with this sense, I can't turn that negative into a positive because you're risking people's lives. Where's your self-worth? Because you're going to have to answer to God in the end. Okay? Yeah, a lot of people believe that if you believe in God, you protected. But there go that story again, where the man was drowning and they sent the lifeboat and sent another boat. And when he died and went to heaven, and God asked him, he asked God, why you ain't saved me? He said, I tried to. I sent help for you twice. So, I'm just telling y'all this story because y'all have to see it for what it is. God has given these people the knowledge to give to us to protect ourselves. All we have to do is follow. That's it. And then once we beat this is when we could come back together in that unity form with the new way of life, respecting each other's space, respecting the love of each other, helping each other the way we should have been doing before the fact, before we all almost lost our lives. This is what we have to do, people. And y'all need to understand it. Now, when it comes back to the unity with the standing strong and fighting what the police are doing, y'all have to hit the polls. Y'all have to vote. Y'all need to see who y'all congressmen are and go talk to them. See who the legislators are and see what they're talking about. This is what y'all gotta do. People died to get us to this point. And y'all just saying, oh well. But as soon as the president ain't doing what y'all say, y'all flipping out. Now, Obama warned us about this. He wasn't in office that long ago. He told us this was getting ready to happen. But did anybody pay attention? No. They ain't pay attention. We would have been prepared. Well, I was kind of prepared. But the people around me might have been a little prepared. But they didn't even know. It took for this to happen, for them to know that Obama brought this to the light when he was in office. All this stuff that's going on with this COVID in the world. And he said other things too that's going to happen that y'all ain't pay attention to. About the gas. About getting the solar panels and why. This is to save our lives. One of the guys on the podcast had mentioned that they look at us as just labor and not human beings. And I have to correct him on that because in my eyes, on this side of the screen, they look at me as a human being because they've been teaching me what to do prior to all of this stuff. So I look at it as I'm looked at as a human being. It's just that I have a choice. If you listening, you'll feel like a human being. If you're not listening, then you feel like you unhuman. You have to pay attention. Y'all all keep running back to the history books. Think about the present. Listen to the present. Because the present is telling us about the future. But is anybody paying attention? No. Everybody paying attention to he made this statement. The girls twerking on the Instagram. That's all they paying attention to. And all the memes that's going down Instagram. That's all they paying attention to. But is anybody paying attention to what's going to happen next? After this COVID. I think I might have seen 2 posts about the vaccine. I think I might have seen 1 post about them sending these kids back to school, and we got these numbers tripling daily. I mean, really? So yeah, I'm bothered by some things as well. And I just thought that I would bring it to light, after hearing their podcast, because they had a lot of great points. And I wish that he can get a live podcast as well, because they were talking some good stuff, some good culture, And I was able to appreciate it. To know that what I read, they read. And I'm not the only one that read it and understood it. Because just because you read something don't mean you comprehend it. And that's another thing. A lot of people have comprehension problems. So they don't understand what you're trying to tell them until it happened. And then when it happened, it's too late. Or they don't know what you said, so they want to go ask 50 other million people until they get an answer, and they may not even understand. So, that's a big problem too with people. They can't comprehend. So, yeah. I did love their podcast. Shout out to JT. I enjoyed your podcast and all the other people that was there discussing our culture. And we need more of that. We need more podcasts talking about our culture and society, the community, and just to understand who we are. And that's the other thing. People of color. You got blacks. You got the West Indians, Hispanics. We're all looked at as black. Okay, because we have brown skin. Some of us have light skin. Some of us brown skin. So, with that being said, with the people with brown skin, like myself, this is when we all need to come together and voice our opinions about certain things so we know how to live. There's certain foods we're not even supposed to eat. And we wonder why we got high blood pressure and sugar diabetes. You ain't supposed to eat that stuff anyway. That ain't no good for you. This is your diet because you colored. Just like you got to buy a certain type of soap because you colored. Just like you got to buy a certain type of shampoo because of your hair. It's the same with the inner body. We're not supposed to eat corn. I didn't know that. I knew that my stomach didn't take it. I thought I was by myself. I knew that we wasn't supposed to eat wheat. Colored people. But they steady eating wheat. Oh yeah, we need this. We need the fiber. But then they wonder why their damn stomach blow up like they pregnant. So these are the things that we need to come together and talk about so we can beat some of these diseases. Because God wants us to live on earth in peace and happiness and be able to eat foods to cure our illnesses and not fill our bodies with a bunch of man-made medication. Some people think those medications are God. They have bags full, sitting down at a table, taking man-made pills. When they can get all of the stuff that they got in them pills in the food. So these are the things that we need to sit down and talk about. And if there's anybody that's out there that do want to start a culture podcast or a culture discussion so we can get on the right path about self-love when it comes to us and what we supposed to, do, how we supposed to feel inside, why we're feeling certain kind of ways. So we'll know. Like they say, the black people, we strong. We can work. They called us the laborers because we will work. But that's what we were trained to do. So it's within us, within our ancestors. This is who we are. But you're not going to turn around later on and call us lazy bums. Because then you turned around and taught us to be lazy. After we was taught to be laborers. So, this is why we have to come together and start teaching our knowledge of the colored people. Well, this is Miss JJ. I'm getting tired now talking. I've been tired of talking, but I just had to get some more things out. And y'all check out JT podcast on YouTube. They was talking, like I said, they was talking some real good stuff. And this is Miss JJ, Jacqueline Richardson, Jackie, Deja, whatever y'all call me. Woman with a bunch of names. I'm out. Y'all have a